good afternoon and welcome to Baina Midday News, coming to you live from Benap House, Atomic Junction, Medina. Coming up this afternoon, cervical cancer. In the stories about cervical cancer, Ghana losing too many young women to cervical cancer, says Dr. Seboka. Also, 12 found guilty, 2 acquitted in Major Mahama trial. And government to meet striking tertiary workers on February 1. Remember, we are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube at Baina TV. We'll be back shortly with details of the stories. Thank you for staying with us. Now starting on with our first story. The jury in the Major Maxwell Mahama case has delivered a unanimous guilty verdict for 12 out of the 14 individuals on trials for the death of Major Mahama. The convicted individuals have been found guilty on count of murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and abetment of murder. 2 of the accused have been acquitted and discharged after the jury found them not guilty of the charges brought against them.
The jury, having completed its deliberations, has been discharged and the convicted individuals are now awaiting sentencing. The case stems from the lynching of Major Mahama in Denchira Obuasi Central Region on May 29, 2017, while he was on duty. The military officer was tragically mistaken for a robber, leading to a brutal attack by the community. Following the incident, over 50 suspects were apprehended and 14 individuals were eventually selected for prosecution. Among the accused were William Ba, the then assemblyman of Denchira Obuasi, Bernard Asamoah alias Daddy, Kofi Nyame aka Abortion, Akwesi Bua, Kwame Tufuo, Joseph Apiakubi, Michael Enim, Bismarck Donko, John Bosei, Akwesi Ba, Charles Queening, Emmanuel Bedu, Bismarck Abanga, and Kwejo Enima. In July 2022, the High Court overruled a submission of no case made by lawyers representing the accused persons, including William Ba. The defense argued that the prosecution has not presented a compelling case against them, asserting their lack of implication in Major Mahama's tragic killing. However, Justice Owusu rejected their argument, holding that the charges had been sufficiently demonstrated by the prosecution, necessitating the accused to open their defense. Justice Mariama Owusu will preside over to sentence the culprits later. Bua.
And now in some educational stories, striking tertiary workers have announced that the government has scheduled a meeting with them on Thursday, February 1, 2024. This meeting is expected to address the concerns that led their members to embark on industrial action. Chairman of the Legon branch of the Teachers and Educational Workers Union, Ken Botwe, says they consider it as a step in the right direction.
The Senior Staff, Teachers and Educational Workers Union, along with the Ghana Association of University Administrators of the University of Ghana, is demanding the payment of their delayed Tier 2 pensions with compound interest and better conditions of service. He said, "We want to see it as a positive development that we are meeting the Minister for Labour, Employment and Pensions, hopefully on the 1st of February, and then we will take it from there. Whatever will happen, we will let the media know about it." Mr. Botwe made this known during a meeting on Monday, January 29, 2024, to update members on the industrial action so far. He, however, indicated that some issues surrounding their conditions of service have seen some headway, but matters regarding the calculation of the pensions remain problematic and will be high on the agenda during February 1st meeting. The government is supposed to use compound interest, not simple interest. If the government uses simple interest, pensioners will be at a disadvantage. Meanwhile, the Senior Staff Association of Public Universities has maintained their ongoing strike despite the National Labour Commission's directive to suspend it.
The Northern Regional Chapter of the Ghana Journalists Association is calling for the arrest of the MP for Yendi, Alhaj Farouk Aliyu Mahama, for assaulting a journalist on Saturday, 27 January 2024. A City News reporter, Mohammed Aminu Alabira, was attacked during last weekend MPP's parliamentary primaries while he was covering proceedings in the constituency.
According to the Ghana Journalists Association in Tamale, the MP Alhaji Farouk Aliyu Mahama slapped and kicked the reporter, causing him to fall. Supporters of the MP then pounced on him in the full glare of security personnel who managed to rescue him. The Ghana Journalists Association said it strongly condemns the act perpetrated by no less a person than the MP of whose interest the journalist was there at the primaries. The GJA is by this statement calling on the Ghana Police Service as a matter of urgency to arrest the MP. It added that it will work assiduously with the police to ensure that justice is served in this matter. It further cautioned that it shall not tolerate any form of abuse on journalists from any individual or group of persons as the political season begins to heat up.
You are still watching by the Midday News. We go for a quick break. We'll be back shortly.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
The word Islam is an Arabic word which means to surrender. As a Muslim, you surrender yourself to the Almighty Allah, your Creator. To do that, we need to understand the concept of Islam. Mayina TV comes your way with the most educative and informative Islamic program, Understanding Islam. On this show, we answer all the questions regarding Islam, the do's and the don'ts of the Sharia, and many others. Make a date with me, Aisha Muhammad Saqib, this and every Friday at 10:30 a.m. as we educate ourselves with the knowledge of the Deen.
All work and no play make Jack a dull boy.
All play and no work make Jack a lazy boy.
Akwai lokacin aiki, haka kuma ne akwai lokaci na nishadi.
Hanzari ba gudu ba.
Mun sake kawo muku a sabon salo na shirin da kuka fi so, Baina Showbiz.
Za mu shigo unguwanninku mu yi wannan shiri tare da ku.
Sai kuma mu ci gaba da kawo muku duk abin da ya kunshi game da nishadi a cikin zangonninmu baki daya. Kada ku manta, ni ne naku Ambassador Entertainment Bash aka Sarkin Zango tare da abokiyar aiki na
Aisha Mukhtar. Kar ku yi nisa da talabishin ku kowane rana Asabar,
inda muke gabatar muku da wannan shiri Baina Showbiz.
a ce muku me, a ce muku daidai ne. Baina Showbiz, farhanku fifiko mu.
Thank you for staying with us now in some health stories. General Secretary of the Society of Obstetricians and Gynecologists of Ghana, Dr. Promise Sevoka, has expressed concerns about the increasing loss of many young women to cervical cancer in the country. Dr. Sevoka told the media in an interview that most cases are diagnosed at late stages where very little can be done to save lives.
Cervical cancer is the fourth commonest cancer among women globally. It is the second most commonest cancer in Ghana and the leading cause of death among women due to its high mortality rate. The disease is caused by the human papilloma virus, HPV, which affects the cervix of a female reproductive system. The human papilloma virus is contracted through unprotected sex, where the virus remains in the cervix for 10 to 15 years without symptoms. Affected women may experience abdominal vaginal bleeding and bleeding after sex, offensive vaginal discharge, back pain, and weight loss when the disease reaches its final stage. Dr. Sefoga, who is also a consultant obstetrician gynecologist at Shape Healthcare Specialist Medical Center, refuted claims that some family planning methods cause cervical cancer. He said intrauterine devices, IUDs, do not cause cervical cancer. Rather, they are one of the effective ways of preventing unwanted pregnancy. IUDs, he explained, do not provide barrier protection. Therefore, if someone has an IUD and engages in unprotected sex with multiple partners, they are likely to be exposed to human papilloma virus. The gynecologist emphasized that getting a pap smear screening and vaccination could save many women from the disease. He said the good news about cervical cancer is that it can be prevented through vaccination. When it's screened, it can detect the presence of the virus and then interventions can be put in place. He therefore said for every woman, it is important to undergo pap smear screening every year. If it tests negative, then they can recommend that the people take the vaccine. Women need to be encouraged to get screened and vaccinated to save their lives. Dr. Sefoga mentioned that despite the availability of an effective vaccine that could prevent cervical cancer, financial barriers to accessing the vaccine remained a challenge. Many women have abandoned vaccination due to the associated cost. He called on the government to eliminate the financial barriers to make the vaccine accessible and include them in the routine vaccination package in Ghana. Dr. Hilda Mantibia Boy, president of the Pediatric Society of Ghana, emphasized the importance of vaccinating children before they become sexually active. She encourages vaccination against the human papilloma virus so that from the age of 9 years they receive the necessary shots to protect them, significantly reducing their risk of infection. Dr. Boy, who also serves as a maternal and child health advocate and a member of the Medical Women Association of Ghana, noted that despite the high death toll among women, not enough attention has been drawn to the situation.
And in business, the Bank of Ghana has lowered its monetary policy rate by 1%. In effect, the rate that commercial banks use as a reference for lending has been reduced from 30 to 29% after 6 months. The rate has remained at 30% since July 2023 to keep inflation under control.
The business community and industry players had called for a rate drop to boost operational activities and expand credit to the private sector. At its 106th monetary policy announcement yesterday, the Bank of Ghana cited a significant decline in inflation, a stable currency rate, and relatively strong economic growth both domestically and globally as reasons for the cut. Governor Dr. Ernest Addison added that although the ease in inflation indicates the efficiency of its inflation targeting framework, it will continue to monitor developments and respond appropriately to tame elevated risk to inflation.
Imperative that Parliament prioritizes the passage of the revenue bills currently before it. Under the staff level agreement with the IMF, the Bank of Ghana and the Ministry of Finance have finalized a memorandum of understanding on zero financing to the budget, which will be signed shortly. The passage of the relevant revenue bills by Parliament will therefore conclude the required prior actions to advance Ghana's program to the IMF Executive Board. This will be critical in resetting the economy on the path of recovery, including putting it firmly on a disinflation path and sustained growth.
These forecasts notwithstanding, there are upside risk to the inflation outlook, and there is need for strict implementation of 2024 budget and a tight monetary policy stance to sustain the disinflation process. The committee noted the emerging recovery but sees the need to maintain a strong policy stance to consolidate the disinflation gains. Under these circumstances, the committee decided to reduce the monetary policy rate by 100 basis points to 29%. On the domestic economy, there are clear indications that the current macroeconomic framework being implemented by the IMF PCF program is yielding positive results. The macroeconomic fundamentals have all trended in the right direction. Both headline and core inflation are declining and projected to decelerate further. Inflation expectation seems well anchored, and fiscal implementation is broadly in line with expectation. He stated that the current account balance is in surplus and will likely remain so in the near term. The foreign exchange build-up has been strong and should support the stable exchange rate outlook. The benchmark key interest rate indicator, the United One-Day Treasury Bill rate, also declined over a year in response to the macroeconomic conditions.
And finally, in sports, veteran coach J.E. Sapon says the government should dissolve the committee set up by the Ghana Football Association to get a new Black Stars coach to replace Chris Hughton. A 5-member committee has been announced by the GFA to search for a new Black Stars coach after the sacking of Chris Hughton following Ghana's elimination from the ongoing 2023 African Cup of Nations.
According to J.E. Sapon, the government should demand a full report on Ghana's disastrous campaign at the 2023 African Cup of Nations. He also questioned the Ghana Football Association rushed to appoint a coach when they haven't produced and given any report to the appropriate entities. According to him, the FA is hiding behind FIFA, and its immunity from the government interferes in the football administration in the country. He urged government to call the FA to order by demanding for the FA to submit a report on the abysmal performance of the Black Stars in Ivory Coast.
And this is where we end our midday news. For more stories, log on to our website, bainamultimedia.com. I'm Khadija Kubra Kailani. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Have a good afternoon.